Analog horror has always been one of my favorite forms of content to watch on YouTube. There are many different types of analog horror throughout the platform. You got stuff from Marble Hornets, the Mandela catalog, the FNAF VHS series. You got all different kinds of analog horror. The idea of immersing yourself into this world that is similar to our own, while trying to solve the story, whether it's an evil corporation to take over the world, or a virus that will wipe out humanity, or just a monster hunting down our protagonist, is always interesting and very fun to watch. However, like all things in the world, there's always going to be a few bad apples in the bunch. And look no further than Urban Spook. Urban Spook, or the name of the series, The Painter, basically involves two killers. One of them kills people, the other one paints them, or I guess they both kill, it's still unclear, but there are two killers, and every time there's a painting with the victims, it's always a depiction of what they did to them. There's also a lot of mutilation involved, and as of right now, the body count is I believe over 20 or around 30. And yeah, the simple premise is each video, someone dies, a painting is found, then another set of painting of victims that have not been found, and hence the repeating cycle. And that's the general formula for the rest of the series. As of right now, there are 8 episodes, with originally being 10, and we'll get a bit into the negatives and all that other stuff. But I do want to acknowledge the positives, and there are some positives here. One positive I have to bring up is the music. I'm serious. The music is fantastic. It sets the mood, it sets the feeling, and it gets you feel immersed. It builds up the atmosphere. Well, with what little atmosphere there is. But nonetheless, I recommend checking out his music. The link to his music will be in the description below of this video, but you can also find them on his other videos as well. His whole SoundCloud not only has the music he's used in these videos, but he also has original music that he has put out himself that aren't used in the videos. I recommend checking out those as well, as those are just as good, if not better. Second thing that I enjoy is his art. I'm not kidding. Some of the art he uses in his videos is really good. It does a great job of conveying how excruciating some of the torture that these killers do on their victims. It does a really good job of conveying that. And the amount of detail and depth goes into this is just amazing. And it shows that this isn't just, some cheap analog horror someone does. There was a bit of effort put into this. And also, the art just itself is creepy. Without knowing the context, just looking at some of these pieces just feels unsettling. It feels realistic, but not too real. I like it. However, can't say this for all the art pieces. Like I said, I like some of them. I think it's time we talk about the big elephant in the room. In the first video Faces, we learn of a painting called Fuck Toy Corey. It isn't until video 3 where we finally learn who Corey is, and he is a kid. Not to mention that the police only found his bottom half sewed onto his sister's upper half with his... Okay, I'm not reading that, but you get the idea. Meaning the killer still has the upper torso. Yeah, I'll leave that to your imagination. However, this isn't the only time we get graphic details involving murder with not only the children, but also adults as well, as both Pig and Family are the worst examples of this in the series. Actually, the Pig was a response to all the criticism people were giving the series, as it doubles down on the paintings and the gore details as well. And really, that's the big problem with this series that not only I have, but also other people have. The fact that there's unnecessary gore for the sake of there being gore. It's just there to shock the audience. There's a lot of details here that don't really amount to anything at all. There's no big mystery, there's no character to follow, because anytime we're introduced to a character, they get immediately killed in the same video, or they get killed in the next one, with there only really being one survivor, but even then, who knows how long until they die. And that's one of the big problems. There's no structure, there's nothing. It's just a showcase for paintings, music, and gore. And that's one of the big criticisms for this series. It's very formulaic. Now, that isn't until episode 7 and 8 where things do take a bit of difference. Yes, we do get the usual, crime scene, painting is found, people are murdered in gruesome ways. However, in episode 7, we get a phone call, or a 911 call, I should say, with one of the victims, and I gotta say, the voice acting in this one is horrific. It feels like an actual 911 call, so I do have to applaud him for that. However, in episode 8, we get security footage of the killers. Now, that part isn't really perfect because, again, we're not really using real people or even animation in Blender. We're still using the images. However, it doesn't overdo it. It doesn't feel cheesy. It still manages to feel creepy. And not to mention, we actually hear the killer speak. We hear one of them speak, and it genuinely feels creepy and real. So, I gotta applaud right there with the sound visuals. It is amazing. However, at this point, it's already towards the tail end of the series and already at a point where people are disinterested in the series as well. As if you actually look through the creator's Instagram, he said he only wanted to do 10 episodes, and really there's only 2 left. But if you look at Urban Spooks' Instagram, you learn a lot about the series. Not only does he have art from his series, but he also has other art pieces as well. However, it's his Instagram stories where we learn more about the series' behind the scenes. First off, the video Faces was only made to test out his VCR gear, and it wasn't until people wanted more did he make more. We also learned that he already has a series planned out for 10 episodes only, along with its ending, and with no season 2 or 3 ever being planned. But the most interesting thing, however, is Urban Spook never watched analog horror before and even after his series, and really isn't a big fan of the genre, which actually explains why his series is so different from the other ones. Now, I also gotta bring up Urban Spooks' response to all the criticism, which has been pretty hilarious to say the least. You see, Urban has been sort of defending his series, saying that, a lot of people can't handle it, that they're all chicken because it's gore, and how dare they, criticize my series and say it's not part of them or say it's trash. With this also being one of his most infamous responses, I'm serious, this is hilarious. Of course, he quickly deleted this response as a lot of people, even other analog horror creators, came out to shit on him, but he made this response on Twitter to all the backlash.
Posture of the rat. This isn't the first time he talked shit. Maybe it went a little hard, I don't know. As I'm sure you're aware, there's been an extreme amount of hate lately. I guess this was kind of the last straw for me. This isn't the first fairly big content creator that basically says I shouldn't have a place in the community simply because I do extreme horror. As I've said it before, I'll keep calling the series analog horror for consistency, but as soon as I'm done, I'm drawing myself away from analog horror community. I'll keep making horror content on the channel though. I really want to try and focus on all you guys who supported my work instead, but it's hard sometimes, especially since I'm fairly new to this stuff. Please know that I appreciate all you so much.
So yes, he will keep calling it analog horror for the time being, for consistency, which, I mean, dude, just call it The Painter, alright? Just change all the titles and call it Painter, and boom, there you go. Look, at the end of the day, I have no problems with including, very graphic content or, very mature subjects, as long as it fits, a purpose to the story, and it isn't there for just pure shock value. Urban Spook, if you're watching this, just finish the series, bro. You've got like 2 episodes left. I know you haven't uploaded in a month, and I'm hoping that's just to, either take a break from this, or if you're working on the episode, just release the last 2 and just move on. You're this close to the series. At this point, what more do you have to lose? And keep working on the music and art, because you are fantastic with that, and that is something nobody can take away. But anyways, that's going to be it for today's video, you guys. Let me know if you think I should cover other analog horrors that aren't that good, like Wyoming Incident or the Super Mario 64 beta. Might end up covering those, actually. But who knows? Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to check out my other videos. Link will be in the description below to all my other social medias. And with that being said, I am out.